of Lagos.
An integral part of governance in Lagos State is the pursuit of a formidable government where everyone counts. Hence the need for a program that highlights the astronomical growth of the state through the massive projects carried out in various localities in the state. Community feedback is poised to extrail Lagos as Africa's model smart city. The feedback segment is also created to feel the pulse of the people in order to maintain the state's tradition of excellence. Community feedback promises to be exciting and informative. Community feedback, hope of the hopeless, voice of the voiceless.
Exit classes have resumed school across the country in preparation for their West African Secondary School Certificate Examination. Here in Lagos, they were asked to observe safety guidelines such as mandatory use of face mask, hand washing exercise, and other COVID-19 safety protocols before they could be allowed into the schools. All of them joyfully complied to the guidelines. My name is Olayinka Rahim. Welcome to Community Feedback. Following the announcement of the Presidential Task Force on the importance of reopening of schools across the country, as part of measures in easing the lockdown, the Lagos State government directed all SS3 and Technical Studies students Tech 3 in both day and boarding schools to resume and commence revision classes for adequate preparation of the West African Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination and Basic Education Certificate Examination. Our correspondent brings you more details in this report.
It's cheering news for parents and students in Lagos State and across Nigeria who have long awaited the reopening of schools for the conduct of examinations, especially for those in terminal classes, as the gates of the schools have been thrown open in line with COVID-19 safe protocols for students to sit for their examinations. The federal government, through its daily briefing by the Presidential Task Force, had announced that although the current lockdown will be extended by 4 weeks, the reopening of schools is essential as part of its measures in easing lockdown restrictions in its next phase. Students in exit classes across the country were asked to resume for revision, but must fully comply with safe guidelines in line with its COVID-19 protocols. In Lagos State, the state government directed all SS3 and Technical Studies students Tech 3 in both day and boarding to resume and commence revision classes for adequate preparation of the West Africa Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination, WASC, and Basic Education Certificate Examination, BEC respectively. To immensely impact the students positively and enable extensive revision and adequate preparation for the examinations, the State Ministry of Education, in partnership with Chronicles Software Development Company, had given out an educational software named Success Box to students. This Success Box application is a software that comprises past questions and answers of WASC and BEC, and is aimed at supporting and enabling students in SS3 and JS3 to excel in their examinations. Prior to school's resumption of terminal class students, the state government had carried out periodic fumigation of all public secondary schools in the state. The exercise was part of the safe resumption guidelines for secondary schools reopening in order to contain the spread of COVID-19 among students, teachers, and other stakeholders in the education sector during the examination period. The state government wants all schools in the state to follow the required public health guidelines and protocols to curb community transmission. The guidelines to be observed during school hours include provision of running water and soap at entrance of each schools. Students should not be more than 20 in a class. Students and teachers should adhere strictly to social distancing rules. Classrooms should be well ventilated. The use of face masks is mandatory. For proper execution of these stated guidelines, the Office of Quality Assurance Education has been saddled with the responsibility of monitoring the level of compliance to the safety and protocols expected to be adhered to by both public and private schools across the state.
The exams were set. We got the schools ready with all the protocols as agreed by the federal government, and I think they've been able to write their exams. There's face masks, there was distance in the classroom, and washing hands regularly. So just the normal protocols, and that's what we did. And now they're almost done. The exams will be over in 9 days, that's 10 days.
Students and schools have been compliant for WAEC monitoring that we have gone on. We've been noticing children have been wearing their face masks. The schools have provided wash hand basins for them to wash their hands. And there is social distancing for the most part. We have been to some schools where we've had to inform them that they should space children differently because they are accustomed to doing things a certain way, and this is the first time an exam is being held in a pandemic. So definitely when we get to some schools, we've had to, support them by, having them move children around. But for the most part, it seems to be a compliant exercise in terms of student compliance, what they're supposed to do, social distancing, mask wearing, and sanitizers, the availability of sanitizer and wash hand basins. On the part of the schools, for the most part also, schools have ensured that the schools are safe, there's fumigation, the environment is pretty clean, and that they've provided the necessary furniture, infrastructure needed for successful examination to happen.
The state government wants the citizens to note that COVID-19 can be spread by people who do not show symptoms and do not know they are infected. Therefore, everyone should take responsibility by following all stated guidelines aimed at curbing the spread of the virus for a safer Lagos.
Welcome back. Now, community feedback crew went on the streets of Lagos to sample the opinions of residents on the reopening of schools for students in terminal classes to write the year 2020 examinations. You will be surprised at the feedback.
The first week when they resume, we have been teaching them. Teachers have been coming teaching them too. Last year, by His grace, our school has 100%. And we've told the students that they cannot let us down this time around. And I believe and I trust them and they are coming out best this year.
The very first day that we resume, we have officials from the Ministry of Education, Quality Assurance Unit. They visited the school and they asked the same question, if we have complied. And I told them yes. Showed them all the details of our compliance to that, and they were really proud. The only aspect we are yet to do was the online training. And it isn't that we haven't done it, but Lagos State itself has not opened the portal for the online training, which I know that very soon that will be done, and we'll also comply to that.
I read for the exam well, and the exam really was very tough. And I was expecting what I read to actually come out, but the fact that it was really tough, I'm expecting, let's say, I'll do 80% well in the examination.
I'm a bit scared because of anything could happen at any moment, but at least the government are putting measures in place, schools are putting measures, nobody's trying to follow these measures and maintain social distance. The use of face mask has been mandatory in the school, and if you're not with the mask or the school gives out to pay. This particular inch and where the school gives it out, students don't have at any moment. So it's been a nice process and experience learning and getting back to school and seeing every one of my friends safe and healthy.
Let's take the spotlight on Alausa community in our segment on Lagos communities. This is where we'll be drawing the curtain today on our program, Community Feedback. Please find time to join us same time, same station next week. Continue to stay safe and practice social distancing to curb the spread of COVID-19. My name is Olayinka Rhyme. Bye for now.